Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 8 of Break It Down, hosted by yours truly, Dante Toro. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good day so far. We have a jam-packed episode. We are talking all things WWE, some NXT stuff, some AEW stuff. We have some returns we're going to talk about. We're going to have some injuries that we unfortunately have to go over, some King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring qualifiers, some updates there. But I say we jump into probably the most relevant, important topic. Liv Morgan is injured. She's going to need surgery on a dislocated shoulder that she suffered on Monday Night Raw this past week against Kairi Sane. If you guys were watching Raw, saw the video, it was a very unfortunate injury. Liv Morgan kind of just like went to the ground, very awkward landing, and needing surgery, being out for 6 months seems like probably the worst case scenario, which is really, really terrible because Liv Morgan is without a doubt one of the most key pieces of the women's division, not just on Monday Night Raw, but in WWE. It's like a lot of the most important stories, what's been going on in the women's division has been, she's been involved in. And I wouldn't say revolved around her, but she's had a big piece in a lot of key stories over the last few years. And she truly has been the MVP of the women's division, or one of the top key figures of the women's division. And, we have Evolution coming up. She had a program with Nikki Bella. She had a little segment with Io Sky to start Monday Night Raw, so we were getting something there. And now we have to obviously scrap all that. WWE, I think there was a report, I can't find it, but I thought I saw something where they had to here it is. Wrestle Talk TV. According to WrestleVotes, Liv Morgan was reportedly set to be a vital part of WWE Evolution prior to her shoulder injury, with WWE creative significantly reshaping things for the show as a result. I'm not sure what her match would have been. I don't know if it was going to be like a tag team match with Raquel against the Bella Twins. I don't know if it was going to be one-on-one against Nikki Bella, Io Sky maybe being. I don't know what it was going to be. Either way, Liv Morgan being out, you have to change a bunch of things, and that fucking sucks. And also SummerSlam, and I think SummerSlam, I think she's from New Jersey. I think SummerSlam is in her home state. I could be wrong if I'm saying that, and it's not true. I apologize, but I thought I saw something there online. But speedy recovery to Liv Morgan, that's the most important thing. Hopefully she doesn't have to miss the full 6 months. Obviously with surgery, there's rehab, there's timelines and everything, but we'll definitely feel her missed presence. Honestly, I hope WWE keeps her on TV, or like not off screen for 6 months. Have her be in a sling. Have her still be on TV. I feel like that's something WWE should definitely still utilize. Her presence. Like, you can still have her a part of the stories and stuff. We'll see. Obviously, with rehab and things, scheduling, all that stuff you have to plan out. People have been speculating that now that Liv's out, it's going to be a whole Dominic Mysterio, Roxanne couple love triangle thing, and then Liv's going to come in. I'm very interested to see how they handle this. They're obviously they'll make it work with her injury and Judgment Day and all of that. Speedy recovery to her. Hopefully we see her in less than 6 months' time. Let's stick to Monday Night Raw. We have two big topics that we're going to get out of the way first, and then we're going to go over the shows. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, AEW, like I mentioned. But the next biggest piece of news, and this is something that we knew was going to happen for a while. We were just wondering when it was going to happen. Gunther is going to be facing Goldberg at Saturday Night Main Event in Atlanta, Georgia for the World Heavyweight Championship. I believe it is on July 12th, which is the same day as AEW All In. But AEW All In is on, AEW All In's at like 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, and then Saturday Night Main Event's at nighttime. But so basically how this came about was Gunther was cutting a promo on Raw. He says that he's man enough to admit that Jey Uso was the better man at WrestleMania for one night. On every other night, Gunther is untouchable. Gunther has heard the chatter about what's next for him, and then people were chanting Goldberg, and I love how Gunther played into this. They were chanting Goldberg, and he said that Goldberg learned his lesson when he cussed him out in front of his family. He doesn't care about rumors. He says the reality is that Seth Rollins holds the Money in the Bank contract, and Gunther has what Seth Rollins wants. That's the World Heavyweight Championship. A few weeks ago, Rollins told Gunther that he's a target when he wins back his World Heavyweight Championship, and Gunther says he'll make it easy for him. He's right here. So now we're expecting someone to walk through that curtain. We're expecting someone to walk down that entrance ramp, and I don't think there was a single person I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins. Goldberg's music hits. He comes down to the ring and he says that he just wants to congratulate Gunther. He says he wants to be a part of this celebration. He wants to put a note on tonight to say that he was proud of Gunther for winning back his World Heavyweight Championship. But before he leaves, a few months ago, Gunther started something with him and his family in Atlanta, Georgia. Goldberg says he's going to make sure that he ends that in Atlanta, Georgia. And he says on July 12th, Saturday Night Main Event, you're mine because you're next. And someone, I forgot who it was on Twitter. I forget who it was, but Goldberg was he either had bad breath or he was just spitting all over Gunther's face, because at some points Gunther was like looking away, like trying to like block his face, whatever. I thought that shit was hilarious. So Gunther Goldberg, listen, am I a fan of this match happening? I wouldn't have booked it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is necessary. I get Goldberg's last match, right? You want to give him a retirement match? Sure, I gotcha. I'm not disagreeing or arguing that Goldberg should or shouldn't have a retirement match. It's just that in this scenario, right, it's like Gunther doesn't need the world championship here, right? First of all, Goldberg shouldn't be in a world title match. He's the least justifiable challenger for a world championship. What has he done? He's done nothing. The last time he's accomplished anything was beating Bray Wyatt for the Universal Championship back in 2020. I think that was the last thing that he did. Since then, I think he's had like maybe 5 matches, not even. So this match, like now, I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm sorry, but like Goldberg had to train. He said that he had some injuries and stuff. So I don't know if this match was supposed to happen months ago when Gunther wasn't the champion, because my thinking was he lost the title to Jey, and part of that was because he was going to fight Goldberg, and it doesn't need the belt. Like at Backlash, that would have been like fuck Pat McAfee in that case. Like swap out Pat McAfee for Goldberg. Perfect. Like that's good. That's money right there, right? Then Gunther can win, get back, win the World Heavyweight Championship. Great. But now you have him win back the World Heavyweight Championship, and the report is that Triple H gave Gunther the World Heavyweight Championship back, had him win it back, so the match felt more important. And I hear all this stuff about going face to face, head to head with AEW All In. I'm not really looking into that stuff, but this match didn't need the belt. You know what I mean? We all know Gunther's going to win. There have been some people online that are saying, oh, what if they pull it off? What if they pull off the shocking upset? No. If in any universe, right, it's not this one, but if in any universe that happened, I am walking out the building and never coming back from Gunther. I'm being dead serious. That's not happening. This isn't 2020. This isn't Vince McMahon ran WWE. Gunther versus Goldberg doesn't need the belt, but it's happening anyways. So how I'm looking at this is it's a harmless match. Would I have booked it? No, but it's a harmless match, okay? Gunther's going to get a world championship defense under his belt. Goldberg gets his last match. And also, if we want to find the good in this, once Gunther beats Goldberg, he's going to be bragging about it. He's going to say, I choked out Goldberg. I was next. No, Goldberg was next. And Goldberg is done. He can say Goldberg is retired. Like, I think you can work with that, right? I think that there's something there, but at the same time, it is predictable and whatever. But this is going to be a 5-10 minute match, okay? This, just have low expectations. That's my best advice. Have low expectations so you're not going to get disappointed by if the match is shitty or not. Apparently Goldberg's been training hard for this. Maybe we can be surprised. That I'm keeping my expectations low. So if it's a good match, then I'll be head over heels. Gunther's going to win. There's not even a part of me that thinks Goldberg is going to win, so I'm not even entertaining that thought. Gunther's going to win. We'll move on from that, and yeah, what can you do? We're going to jump to Friday Night SmackDown, and this was a really good like opening to the show. So John Cena comes out, and he says, this was a really funny line. He just starts off and he goes, wrestling's Mount Rushmore is John Cena, John Cena and John Cena. I thought that was a great opener to this promo. Just really got the crowd going. A lot of them were cheering with him, like they were agreeing with him. He says that there have been great wrestlers and great talkers, but no one in the past, present, or future is even comparable to him. Cena says the reason he will always outmaneuver others is because he is smarter. He says, you can't see me, but all you want to be me. He is always 1,000 steps ahead of everyone because they are all worried about right here and right now, while he won a year ago. Then he started talking about CM Punk because they had their promo on Raw. Cena says if CM Punk really wants to take the title, he has to admit to himself that he's a hypocrite. And he does not have to worry about Seth Rollins being Mr. Money in the Bank because he doesn't think Seth will ever cash in on him while he's holding the title. He says Seth wants Cena to leave with the WWE Championship because when he cashes in, he'll be WWE's only champion. Now, before I jump back into the promo because more stuff happens, I do think it's interesting how Seth is now kind of getting tied into this a little bit. We saw him and his promo with CM Punk. Cena and Punk had their promo, and then Seth Rollins came out at the end. Didn't say anything, but his presence was felt, and now Cena's mentioning him in promos. Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank on the World Heavyweight Championship is something that I thought was always what am I trying to say here? That was the most likely situation, right? That's the most likely championship that he'd cash in on. But now that Gunther has won the World Heavyweight Championship, now I'm thinking, like, how long is he going to be the champ for? I personally will be very upset if Gunther just wins the belt back and then loses it in like a month and a half, in less than 2 months, to whoever wins the King of the Ring tournament or to someone at SummerSlam. It's going to be, I think, Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. I think that will be the finals of the King of the Ring. That's my prediction. If Sami Zayn wins, I think him beating Gunther at SummerSlam is very possible. And I would love that for Sami, but at the same time, it's like Gunther, you had him win back the belt. You're building him back up just for him to lose it again. I don't know about that booking. But if Seth Rollins, because if Sami wins, I think Seth's going to cash in on Sami. So that's why I think Seth is involved with the World Heavyweight Championship and he's on Raw. But the WWE Championship is interesting because Seth Rollins, like, very much so could be involved in the WWE Championship picture, even though he's on Raw. And maybe he cashes in on Cena and then we get something with Punk and Cody. A lot of different things could happen, but let's jump back into the promo. I'm taking my fantasy cap off really quick. So Cody Rhodes comes out. And he says, Cena, you're not just smart, you're a genius. It is unfortunate that everything that Cena does and has said has come to fruition. But here he is with this 25-year master plan, but there is this variable. Cody asks him why he didn't include this Saturday when he was looking at the lights and Cody pinned him. Cody says he is not part of Cena's retirement plan. Randy Orton comes out now, so we're loading up the ring. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and fucking Randy Orton. Randy Orton says everyone saw he had Cena beaten in the ring, and it just came down to one guy that came down and tried to help John Cena. Randy Orton's getting pissed off. He says that he has to do what it takes, no matter who he has to go through to get number 15, and he really emphasizes to Cody that he loves him like a brother, but if he has to take him down to get to Cena, he will not hesitate to do that. And all of a sudden, LA Knight comes out. The crowd goes crazy. This is a great start to Friday Night SmackDown. LA Knight right away says he heard the world say that they want LA Knight. He's referring to the LA Knight, the outrage of him not winning Money in the Bank. He knows what the fans want. He knows what the three guys in the ring don't want, and that is him walking down to the ring. LA Knight walks down to the ring, says he is looking at the WWE establishment, and he knows that. He is the sore thumb standing out there, and he likes it that way. He says King of the Ring is right around the corner, and he has a shot at all of them to take what is his. And if he has to drop a Viper, a Nightmare, or he has to drop a genius, balding bitch John Cena to be WWE champion, with everyone saying LA Knight, yeah, he will. And then John Cena leaves. He's like, I don't need any of this stuff. And as he's leaving, R-Truth comes out and attacks John Cena. So we get more R-Truth, John Cena stuff. Really good opening promo segment to start SmackDown. And that jumped into the King of the Ring qualifier match, which was Randy Orton, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Aleister Black. Randy Orton did defeat all three men. He pinned LA Knight after Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker came in and interfered. I think Randy Orton hit an RKO to Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes jumped off the top rope onto LA Knight, pinned LA Knight. LA Knight getting pinned, I don't think needed to happen. At the same time, like, I wouldn't want Carmelo Hayes to get pinned because I feel like he's always getting pinned, and Aleister Black just came back. So LA Knight, it seems like he is involved with Seth Rollins in that group. There's gonna, he's in a story with them now. We'll get more into that later on. It is unfortunate he had to eat a pin after everything went Money in the Bank, but Randy Orton advances, and we also had 2 Queen of the Ring qualifiers. We had Jade Cargill defeating Michin, Nia Jax, and Piper Niven to advance, and Alexa Bliss defeating Charlotte Flair, Alba Fire, and Candice LeRae to advance. I'm not too sure when some of the matches are. I think on Raw next week, it's Jade versus Roxanne. But they have matches on SmackDown and Raw next week to go to the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. And then we also, at the end of the night, had Cody Rhodes defeating Shinsuke Nakamura, Andrade, and Damian Priest to also advance in the King of the Ring tournament. We also had one other John Cena promo. So we had 2 appearances from John Cena on Friday Night SmackDown. This was somewhere in between the show. The main event was Cody Rhodes defeating Shinsuke, Andrade, and Damian Priest. But we'll jump to this this John Cena CM Punk, not CM Punk, CM Punk. Cena comes out saying there is a level of disrespect that he can tolerate. And he says that R-Truth crossed some lines. The fans chanted, "We want truth." And Cena says for once he agrees with them. He says there is a time to talk and a time to fight. And he tells Truth to come out and fight. CM Punk comes out and he says the people are tired of being disrespected by John Cena. Punk has a microphone and they have yet to begin to reach levels of disrespect that they are capable of. But for old time's sake, he is giving John Cena a chance. Maybe his empathy is too much. Maybe he is too Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to Darth Vader looking for Anakin. Punk says he is going to give him a chance in front of this legendary wrestling town to stop what he is doing, to let the fans celebrate who and what they are, to put him on a pedestal to celebrate the sacrifices he has made, to give the fans a happy ending. John Cena asked CM Punk, why would he waste his time? He says these people don't matter. This place doesn't matter. Basketball doesn't matter. Horse racing doesn't matter. He says the WWE title is the only thing that matters. Punk says the truth is that Cena can't beat him, and when he was at his best, he also couldn't beat him. He says he's starting to sound like PG Cena, which is ironic because Cena is starting to sound like CM Punk. Cena is stealing his material. He won the championship, left with the championship, and Cena is trying to follow in his footsteps. Punk says he did it, and Cena couldn't stop him. Challenging him at Night of Champions won't stop him. Just like old times, here is Punk to make Cena's title run interesting, which is very true since CM Punk, since it's only just been like a few appearances, but so far this has been one of the highlights of John Cena's retirement run. He says he will follow John Cena to Mars to beat his ass. He will follow him to hell to prove that he is better than him. He calls Cena a GOAT, but so is he. Punk says he beat him in both of their hometowns and he will beat him at Night of Champions. Terry Funk, Harley Race, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, they belong on the Mount Rushmore. The audacity to put himself on that list in 4 times. Punk says he sees through him. He always has, and that is the truth. Punk walks out of the ring, hits him with the shoulder. Music plays. As he's walking away, R-Truth comes out again and attacks John Cena, puts him in an STF, and we get split up, whatever. It gets announced next week. We get R-Truth versus John Cena. So that will be interesting. We're getting a live television. We're getting a SmackDown match from John Cena. I was thinking that we were going to get him and R-Truth, or I don't think they're calling him Ron Killings. I think they're still calling him R-Truth, but I thought we'd get that at like a special event or something. But at the same time, the next big one coming up is SummerSlam. I couldn't imagine them doing another Saturday Night Main Event match between John Cena and R-Truth. So I guess it's fine that they're having it on SmackDown. And now that SmackDown is over, I say we move over to Monday Night Raw. And on Raw, we had some more King and Queen of the Ring qualifiers, some advancements. The first one that we have is Asuka defeating Stephanie Vaquer, Ivy Nile, and Raquel Rodriguez to advance. And she is going to face Alexa Bliss on SmackDown tomorrow night. I honestly was kind of surprised that Asuka won. Asuka, it was her first match in over a year. She made her return. They didn't do anything to hide or keep it a secret because they put her graphic in the tournament bracket. I feel like saving it as a surprise would have been better, but what doesn't matter at this point. Asuka did pin Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea Ripley came out distracted Raquel Rodriguez, so they have something going on there. But Asuka gets the win. I honestly thought Stephanie McCare was going to win this one. I thought Stephanie McCare would have been I thought she was going to be one of the finalists for the Queen of the Ring, honestly, but she's not. Asuka advances, again, facing Alexa Bliss. So we will see how that goes tomorrow night. AJ Styles defeated JD McDonagh in a nice little match. AJ Styles, listen, if we can get an AJ Styles match, Monday Night Raw in 2025, I will take it. Doesn't matter who it's against. Any chance we can watch AJ Styles fight, it is a privilege. Bayley and Becky Lynch had a little back and forth promo battle, just kind of continuing their rivalry, their feud. Becky kind of talked more about why she attacked her. Bayley talked about how her attacking her made her stronger and all that. This led to Bayley getting a rematch, or not a rematch. She's getting a title match against Becky Lynch on Raw next week, as when she's in the office. Nick Aldis filled in for Adam Pearce this week, so Nick Aldis gave her the match. Lyra was also back there. Bayley apologized for not getting back to her the last few months. There's been a lot going on. Says that she is doing what's best for herself, getting this title match. And Lyra says if she does win Bayley, that she is going to do what's best for herself as well. So Becky, Bayley, Lyra, I feel like we're pushing towards like a triple threat match. Feel like that's these three. That's the rivalry going into SummerSlam. I think that would be a nice place to have those three face off. I mentioned this. I've been mentioning this since Becky Lynch has been back and feuding with Lyra. Her with the IC championship, I think, is going to benefit. It's going to be really good for the championship having Becky Lynch hold it, because she's Becky Lynch. People can consider her the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and having her hold on to the belt, have these title defenses, I think really does add another level of prestige to the belt. Lyra did a great job with the championship. I think she had some great matches. It picked up steam in the second half of her title reign, but putting it on a more established star is different. Like, it's no disrespect to Lyra at all. It's just Becky's the bigger name. She's been around longer, and I'm happy with the presentation that the IC belt is getting right now. And I'm excited to see where this goes, because, I mean, Bayley and Becky's a huge match. That could be the main event of Raw next week, to be honest with you. That's a big match. So we'll see what happens there. I'm expecting a Becky Lynch title retain, or maybe they give it to Bayley. I mean, I think that would really get people to talk about the championship in the Intercontinental Championship division. So looking forward to that next week. And in the main event, we had Jey Uso, who was I wouldn't say surprise, but there was a mystery person in this Fatal 4-Way match. So the other three were Rusev, Sheamus, and Bronson Reed. So you got three big meaty men slapping meat, and you have a mystery challenger. Everyone's, some people said Ilya. Some people were throwing around like Omos because, of how big he is, fits the big meaty men, gimmick there. But instead they give it to Jey Uso. And they announced it was Jey Uso after he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. I get the whole like putting him back in the mix of things so we can get a World Championship match, whatever. But one, he doesn't fit this match. And two, I don't think, like, why did they do a whole like it's a mystery, but the whole time it was gonna be they gave it to Jey, like, so it wasn't. I'm confused of why they went about it the way that they did. Jey Uso wins by pinning Bronson Reed. I know he has a thing with LA Knight going on right now, because LA Knight came out, he helped cost Bronson Reed. He helped Jey Uso win. Well, he didn't help Jey Uso win. He just cost Bronson Reed. Jey Uso took advantage of it. It's just annoying because Bronson Reed, you're trying to build up this group of him, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, right? You're trying to legitimize them. They don't even have a team name yet. They don't have a theme song yet. We're working on it, but you're trying to legitimize them. Bronson Reed, look at him. Look at the motherfucker. He is a big motherfucker. He is big Bronson Reed. Big motherfucker Bronson Reed. He shouldn't be losing to a Jey Uso splash. I'm sorry. I love LA Knight, and I think, like, yes, it makes more sense when someone interferes. It's not like he just got pinned clean in this case. I don't know, man. Bronson Reed should have been the last guy to get pinned in this case. Like, Rusev's back. He's new. Like, he's back in the company, so I can see why you don't want him to get pinned, similar to what I said about Aleister Black. Sheamus, I mean, I don't want to see Sheamus get pinned, and Jey Uso pinning him would be weird. Face pinning a face, excuse me. But Bronson Reed should not have been pinned. You have to protect him, especially if you're putting him in this prominent group. You want to take them seriously. I don't think that was the right call there. I don't think Jey Uso, he shouldn't have been in this match. I think it was way too predictable. Once they added him to this, everyone knew it was going to be him. Especially you saw Cody Rhodes win on SmackDown because we're doing Cody versus Jey. I don't know. I think it's on Raw next week. Cody and Jey have history, a friend versus friend matchup to make it to the finals of King of the Ring. But nah, I think they could have went about this a different way. I don't think Jey Uso should have been in this situation. I'm not trying to be a hater or nothing like that. Yeet. I love the Yeet man, but yeah, I didn't like this decision. And then also, AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio got announced for Night of Champions for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know if it'll happen at Night of Champions, but man, oh man, I am pushing for an AJ Styles Intercontinental Championship run. I think he would he would be fantastic with that championship. He can still go. That motherfucker can still go. Like I mentioned, anytime that we get to see him wrestle, I'm gonna make sure I watch. I'm not gonna take it for granted. Dom's been good as IC champ. I don't want him to like necessarily lose the belt, but at the same time, it's like the mid-card championships don't have to be held on for super long. Dom has had multiple title defenses. He did get his big moment at WrestleMania. Now that Liv's going to be gone for 6 months, maybe, we play into like he's losing the belt without Liv, and, maybe we can tie that into it. I don't know. Getting a win over AJ would be huge for Dom. But at some point, I would love to see AJ win some gold, and I think the IC belt would be perfect for him. Now that Raw is over, let's jump over to NXT. There is a lot of women's matches here because we had an Evolution Eliminator theme tonight, basically. So Evolution is coming up. When is I think Evolution? Evolution is in July 13th. So, the day after Saturday Night Main Event. It's also in Atlanta, Georgia. That makes sense. So they're doing an NXT Women's Championship match. JC Jane will defend her title against either Jada Parker, Jordan Grace, Izzy Dame, or Lash Legend. All 4 women won qualifiers on NXT this past week. Jada Parker defeated Thea Hale. Lash Legend defeated Kalani Jordan. Izzy Dame defeated Zarya. And Jordan Grace defeated Lola Vice. Also, we had Elijah, formerly known as Elias, Josh Briggs, and Yoshiki Inamura defeating AJ Francis, Trick Williams, and Wesley. And then to close out NXT, Blake Monroe officially signed her NXT contract, and then Fatal Influence came out, put her through a table, and that is how NXT ended. We can jump over to AEW now. We'll end the show, end this episode on AEW. They had their AEW Grand Slam Mexico. They had a joint show last night. I want to get the match card pulled up. Hold on. AEW Grand Slam Mexico. Here we go. Match card. There was a lot of multi-person tag team matches. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. There are 2 big multi-person tag team matches. The first match tonight was a 14-man tag team match, 7v7. Adam Cole, Atlantis Jr., Bandito, Brody King, Daniel Garcia, and Templario. I apologize if I mispronounced that. They defeated Dax Harwood, Hechichiro. I am so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Josh Alexander, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Lance Archer, and Volador Jr. I apologize if I mispronounce any names. But yeah, 14-man match to start off. Then you had Okada defeating Mark Briscoe in a singles match. We had Mystico defeating MJF via disqualification. But what people were talking the most about from this match, or honestly from the show, I think the biggest takeaway for a lot of people was Mystico making his entrance, and he was coming out to his legendary theme song. The crowd was so emotional. You can see people in the crowd crying, singing along, just so happy for Mystico. He came out with a Sin Cara mask. He ripped it off, and it was like a Mexican flag themed mask or whatever. It was a really powerful moment. I didn't really know the history too much or whatever, but basically this entrance, this presentation was him putting a nail in Sin Cara's coffin, is what I'm reading here, is kind of what the whole taking off the mask, everything was. So I don't really know the history of it too much, so I don't want to like talk about it and like act like I know what I'm talking about when I really don't know too much of the history. But it was a crazy reaction, really, really cool reaction, cool thing to see. And MJF was the ultimate heel. he was the ultimate heel. He has the MVP gear on, which I think is incredible, but he was wearing it was all USA America themed. Great heel work. And there was a report that he got not jumped, but there were fans at his hotel that were like trying to go at him and stuff because he legit got heat for everything. And that's when you know you're really good at what you do. And we had a 4 million pesos four-way match. So whoever wins gets 4 million pesos. And that saw Hologram defeating Leo Rush, Mascara Dorada, and Ricochet. Then we had the next match. This wasn't the main event because the main event was another multi-man tag team match. Mercedes Moné wins the CMLL World Women's Championship. So now she is 6 belts. Moné, which if you count the Owen Hart Championship, that's 6. But seeing the visual of her with all the belts, incredible. And I've been seeing both sides of it on Twitter since then of like, oh, like what's the point of giving her all these belts? She's hoarding these belts. She's taking opportunities away from other women. Then there are people saying like she deserves this with everything she's been through. She's putting these companies on the map. I'm not here to talk about whether it's a good or bad thing. I do think it's really cool seeing Mercedes getting this shine and being presented like this because she truly is one of the greatest female superstars ever. And listen, say what you want, but she really did get shit on a lot when she was in WWE. There was a lot of questionable stuff revolving her in WWE, her time there, all the short title reigns, the questionable booking decisions, obviously how everything ended with her in the company. I'm very happy to see her shine here. And I do think her holding the belts, like, yeah, it's like she's holding 6 championships. Is that a lot? Yeah, it's a fucking lot. But she is putting these promotions on the map. And 2 of those belts, I'm pretty sure were like made for her. I'm pretty sure like she was the inaugural champion for 2 of the belts. I could be wrong, but I don't care too much. Not that I don't care, but I'm not really looking at it like, oh, she's holding all these belts. She's taking opportunities away. I think it's putting these companies on the map. She deserves it, and she's not going to hold on to all these belts for forever. So she'll eventually lose them, and it'll go from 6 to 1, or maybe 7 if she wins it all in. Which 7 belts, Moné would be nuts. But that was a really cool. That was one of the highlights from the show. And then to close out the event, we had the Death Riders, Moxley and Wheeler Yuta, the Young Bucks, and the Beast Mortos defeating the Ops, which was Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata, Swerve Strickland, and Will Ospreay. So that happened. That was the end to AEW Grand Slam Mexico. And I think that's where we're gonna end it today, guys. I don't really have anything else to really cover here. Let's check Twitter. There were more than a handful of people advocating for LA Knight to be moved to the Raw brand. And I mean, at this point, I think a change of scenery for LA Knight wouldn't be a bad thing. And especially if he's feuding with Seth Rollins in that group, I think him going after the World Heavyweight Championship might be the best case scenario for him now. The WWE Championship is that might be a little bit out of his reach right now. 9 years ago today, all members of the Shield held the WWE Championship in the same night at Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns walked in as champion. Seth Rollins defeated Reigns to become champion. Then Dean Ambrose cashed in his Money in the Bank that he won that night on Rollins to become champion. That was a legendary night. Mercedes Moné officially the first woman in history to have competed at Madison Square Garden, Tokyo Dome, Wembley Stadium, and Arena Mexico. Wow, that's a really cool fun fact. Ooh, WWE 2K DLC, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Shaquille O'Neal. Awesome. Oh, I should have put this at the top. SmackDown will return to 2 hours. July 4th, the 4th of July. So less than a month. Friday Night SmackDown going back to 2 hours. Thank God. Honestly, thank God. I was all for the 3-hour switch when they first announced it because I was like, they have so many talented superstars on the roster. They will benefit from 3 hours. They'll have an extra hour to feature more people, push some new stars, some young guys, whatever. Nope. They didn't do a damn thing with that extra hour. It actually made the show worse. It dragged on the show even more. They didn't create opportunities for young stars. They didn't push new stars. It actually was a huge flop. So I'm thrilled that they're going back to 2 hours. Maybe that's the sweet spot for Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, Raw only does like 2.5 hours now, so it's not even like they go 3 hours anymore. I think it's kind of disappointing that they couldn't make the extra hour work because an extra hour of SmackDown, like you have all these young, like Carmelo Hayes. I know there's other examples, but that's a guy that really could have benefited from that extra time allotted to him. The tag team division, the women United States Championship. Like I feel like they really could have used that for a lot of people, a lot of championships and divisions, but they couldn't. They couldn't make it work. It's not my problem. It's not your problem. It's their problem. And I think the problem now is that the podcast, this episode, is coming to an end. But thank you guys so much for joining me today for episode number 8. I hope you enjoyed this video, this episode. Put in the comments down below any hot takes, comments, questions, suggestions, anything you have for me. Put it down below. Check out my Patreon. The link for that will be below as well. $5, $10, and a $1 tier too if you want to support the channel. I'd appreciate it. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy Thursday. I will see you all week. Peace out.